بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we finished the fiqh of wudu, and in fact it might be more appropriate to say Kitab al-Tahārah, the book of purification, because not only we talk about wudu, we talked about other issues as well. We talked about tayammum, we talked about ghusl. Obviously we didn't talk about every single topic in Kitab al-Tahārah. We didn't talk about different types of water and utensils and so on. We did talk about the main issues. Also, Sunan al-Fitrah, the recommended acts of the fitrah of cleanliness. So, alhamdulillah, we took quite a bit. So today's lesson is more of a revision session, and it's not much to really revise. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this quick and try to keep this short, bi'idhnillah. And those who know how we do our revision sessions, normally I ask a question and students answer and so on. But today we'll do a bit different, where I'll just mention the main points, and between yourselves, inshallah, do try to test one another. Something very important to test one another as students. Some of the Shaykh Haytham told us that some of the students of Ibn Uthaymeen said that they benefited more from the students of Ibn Uthaymeen than Ibn Uthaymeen himself. Why? Because the students were the ones who would push them, who would test them, who would motivate them when they needed motivation, and so on. So, without the students, they wouldn't have been attending and benefiting from Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, after the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what did we take? Obviously, we started off by taking the conditions of ablution, which were 10. Which is Islam, sanity, age of differentiation, tamyiz, the intention, continuous intention, so one does not intend discontinuing it until one completes ablution, the ceasing of the actions that nullify the ablution, clean the private parts after washing, after using the washroom with water or clean dry objects. The water must be clean and permissible to use, removing from the skin anything which may prevent the water from reaching it, and the prayer time has entered for the one who nullifies the ablution continuously. And we obviously explained each of these in detail. Some of them I might just touch on now. So tamyiz, for example, we said that is the age where the child is able to differentiate, and some ulama have given a number saying 7 due to the hadith. However, what seems to be more correct is that it's not restricted to 7, but as soon as the person's intellect is there and they're able to differentiate, then the ruling applies. As for the hadith, then the hadith is not a ruling for the child, rather it is a commandment for the parents, that at this age you should start to command your students to pray so that they get into the habit. Also, istinja and istijmar we talked about. The best is combining between the two. If not, then just istinja, and if not, then istijmar. And we mentioned some of the conditions of al-istijmar, which is that firstly it has to be something which cleans the area. And we mentioned cleans the area meaning you don't leave any traces except that water, except the particles that are left are not clean except with water. Also from the conditions is it has to be 3 or more wipes. Also is that from the conditions is that it does not transgress the normal place of where the najasa would be. And also we said it cannot be, you can't use something which is honored, respected, or food, or bones, or dung, or anything like that. Now, and then we also took the recommended acts of cleanliness, and I actually, I sent that PDF in the group, which Sheikh mentions 11 in total. Here are 7, but in that the Sheikh mentioned 11. So you have circumcision, trimming the mustache, clipping the nails, plucking the armpit, shaving around the private parts, growing the beard, and using the siwak. And then after that, we took the obligatory actions of ablution. By the way, I'm mentioning these quickly, but you should know them like this. If somebody says to you, what are the conditions of wudu, you should be able to mention all 10. You should be able to mention all 10. If somebody says to you now, what are the obligatory acts, the furud of wudu, it should be mentioned all 6. And these are the ones which are mentioned in the ayah. You should memorize the ayah. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha qumtum ila as-salati faghsilu wujuhakum wa aydiyakum ila al-marafiq wamsahu bi ru'usikum wa arjulakum ila al-ka'bayn. Or you who believe, if you get up to pray salah, then wash your faces and your hands to your arms, and wipe your heads and wash your feet till your ankles. So they were the 4 body parts, and we talked about their boundaries from the normal hairline to the chin or the beard, earlobe to earlobe. So we talked about all of these things, and some of the questions are going to come in the exam that the Sheikh has mentioned. And then obviously the fifth was washing them in order, and the sixth was not leaving a time gap so that the previous body part dries up. Then we talked about nullifiers of wudu, and the Sheikh mentioned 6. Whatever exits from the two private parts, the exiting impure substances from the other parts of the body. And we said with this, the correct opinion is that it doesn't break the wudu because there's no clear proof, and there are narrations of the Sahaba that that show otherwise. Losing consciousness due to sleep or other than it, and we said when it comes to sleep, is as soon as you've lost consciousness, like you've gone into basically deep sleep and you don't know what's going on, then you've broken your wudu. Touching the private parts, front or back, without a barrier, eating camel meat and leaving Islam. As for washing the dead, and that does not break your wudu because there's no proof or clear proof, unless you touch the private parts. And touching a woman does not break your wudu also because perhaps someone kisses wives and then go for salah. And then the Sheikh, he showed us how to do wudu, how to do tayammum. This is a substitution for wudu when you don't have water or you can't use the water, whether you're not able to reach the water or you want injury or something like that. How to do wudu? Make attention, say bismillah, whack your hands, not whack your hands, or hit your hands onto the earth, and then you wipe your face and you wipe back of your hands. Then we all talked about ghusl and showering as well. In ghusl, we talked about a number of issues. Firstly, the description of the obligatory shower, and that is basically after making intention saying Bismillah, is that you make sure the water reaches every part of the body. As for the recommended way of doing it, then you wash your private parts first, then you wash your hands, then you do wudu, then you pour water over your head 3 times, making sure that the water goes to the roots of the hair. Then you wash the right side of the body and then left side, and then finally you wash your feet. In regards to washing the right and the left, some ulama have said that no, this is not from the Sunnah. And some have said, yeah, mostly doing qiyas. Because in wudu, you do the same thing, right? You wash your right arm, then your left arm, right foot, then your left foot, and so on. So they give it the same ruling here. But al-amru sahl, it's not a big issue. What makes the shower obligatory? We said janaba, which is the first thing. Sperm coming up, whether it's through intercourse or other means, and the male and female organs meeting. And we mentioned that is the head of the private part of the man entering into and disappearing into the woman, menstruation and postnatal bleeding, the death other than a martyr, and a non-Muslim accepting Islam. We also talked about the different things that come out of, so these are things that we added that are not in the book, right? Other things that come out of a person, we talked about, so urine is najis and it breaks your wudu. Mani, semen or sperm for both men and women itself is pure, but you have to do ghusl. We talked about madhi, pre-seminal fluid, which is najis, and we talked about wadi as well, which is also najis. Then we talked about the things that a person who is in a state of hadith akbar and asghar, what they can't do. So hadith asghar, they can't pray salah by ijma', and they can't do tawaf and touching the mushaf. And there's a bit of khilaf in this, but the best is also always have wudu when doing these actions. As for somebody who has major impurity, hadith akbar, then the same as hadith asghar, and they can't recite Quran and they can't go through or sit in the masjid except by doing wudu. As for a woman who is on a menstrual cycle or has postnatal bleeding, then we said she can't do the same thing, nor can she fast, nor can she, and there's a bit of khilaf in this one, but we don't need to go into it right now. She can't pass through the masjid unless she needs to go past, and she makes sure that it doesn't, there's no dirt, she doesn't dirty the masjid. And fifth, reciting the Quran, but we talked about this issue and we said that the correct opinion is that she can recite the Quran. Also, she can't be given talaq. She can't be given talaq if she's on her menstrual cycle. Then after that, we talked about wiping the socks and the conditions, that they have to be clean, they have to be worn upon ablution, which is probably the most important that a lot of people don't know. It's only for wudu, the wiping, and it covers most of the feet. The best is to cover the whole feet. And time is for somebody who is muqim 1 day, 24 hours, and somebody who is a traveler, musafir, 72 hours, i.e. 3 days and 3 nights. How to wipe? Just pass your hands over the top of the foot. If the time ends or the socks are removed, that does not break your wudu. And if it has holes in, then it is fine. And some mannerisms of using the bathroom, the du'as to make, and what is allowed. What is obligatory is to use the toilet in a closed place away from everyone else, even if outside, i.e. no one can see you. And what is not allowed is to leave in a place where people use, basically, or to face a qibla, or to touch the private parts with the right hand, or to mention the name of Allah. Now, and then we mentioned the conditions of istijmar. So that was basically, I've done a very, very quick revision and overlook of what we have taken. Like I said, try to test one another. Normally I would, but today we started a bit late, and because of a few of the reasons, we'll just, suffice with this quick overview. But now we'll go through this exam, inshallah. We'll go through this exam that Shaykh Hitham has mentioned, has written for us. You guys can type in the chat, inshallah, and let me know what the answers are. First question, how many conditions does ablution have? So how many conditions are there for wudu? 9, 10, or 8? Be careful. Most people have said 10, one person said 8. Be very careful. We're talking about conditions. Nullifiers were 8, according to the Hanabila, but Ibn Baz mentioned 6, but in total, he said there are 5. The conditions of wudu are 10. The conditions of wudu are 10. Come over here. Conditions of ablution of wudu, they are 10. They are 10. Yeah. Okay. The obligations of wudu are the 4 limbs, that which has preceded, i.e. the 4 limbs, plus the order and continuity, muwala, not leaving a time gap so that the previous body parts dry up. Is it the first one or the second one? You can put 1 or 2 to make it easy. The second one, ahsan. So it's the 4 body limbs plus these 2. How many nullifiers does ablution have? 5, 6, or 8? Ahsan. I mean, Ibn Baz, rahimahullah, he mentioned 6, but remember one of them, which is that if impure substances come out of the body, such as blood and so on, we said the correct opinion is that does not break the wudu. So if you put 5 as well in that sense, then we can say you're correct. But Ibn Baz, he mentioned 6. Okay, choose the nullifiers of ablution from the following: Kamalmi, Gazalmi, stomach noise, gas, sleeping, washing a dead body, touching a woman. Now, I've got the Arabic here, and some of the Arabic in here is a bit different. Like nu'as is not really sleeping. Sleeping is more, it's a different type. But okay, we'll stick with what is in the English. I'll go through each of them. You just tell me yes or no. Does eating kamalmi break the wudu? Yes, it does. Gazalmi? No, so it's just camel meat. Stomach noise? No, it doesn't. Gas or wind? That does. Sleeping? Sleeping does. Washing a dead body? Deep sleep, yeah. Good. It's good to mention deep sleep now. If it's light sleep where you can hear everything, then it doesn't. Washing a dead body, we said correct is no. Touching a woman? I said no. Okay. Number 5, describe the dry ablution. That is quite simple. So the answer for that is basically that you do make the intentions and say Bismillah, hit your hands onto the earth, and then you wash wipe your face and the top of your hands. Describe the Islamic shower. Now these are 2 descriptions you could write, which is going to be the obligatory way and also the recommended way. And the answer is basically what is written here. Okay, so the obligatory shower and the recommended way of doing it. So if your answer is this, then you are correct. Okay, we'll go through each of these ones. What are the rulings of the following? Saying the intention out loud. Bid'ah, good. It's not allowed, it's bid'ah. The second, you have the intention to make ablution for one prayer, then he or she prays more than one. Is the salah accepted, basically? So you make the intention, I'm making wudu for Dhuhr. Right, then I pray Asr and Maghrib with that same wudu. Is Asr and Maghrib accepted? Yes, it is. This is actually a ruling in the bigger books of fiqh, they talk about it. What are the intentions that we say make intentions, but they say what are the intentions? And I mentioned different intentions. The main thing, they say that if you make an intention to do an act of worship which requires you to do wudu, then it's lifted. The main thing is that when you do wudu, make the intention that you are removing the state of hadith asghar. Okay, you're removing a state of impurity. If you've done that, then khalas, you have wudu and you can do whatever you want with it. Yani, meaning whatever you want, meaning pray as much as you want and do all the actions that require wudu. So, for example, here, made ablution to recite the Quran and then prayed salah. Yeah, salah is accepted here. Okay, discontinued the intention yani, of wudu whilst making the wudu. What's the ruling here? Is the wudu accepted or no? Invalid wudu, not accepted. Ahsantum. Okay, what about the next one? Discontinued the intention after making wudu. So you finish wudu, and after you're like, you know what? No, that wasn't wudu or anything like that. What's the ruling on your wudu there? It's accepted. It's accepted. Ahsantum, very good. The intentions after doesn't really have an effect on what you've done. Made ablution and on the calf, يعني basically on the leg or on the shin, there is some dough. Dough will prevent the water reaching there. What's the ruling? It's accepted. Why? Why is it accepted? Dough prevents the water reaching. Because it's not part of the limbs that you have to wash in wudu. Ahsant. So that's with anything, you know. Even if you had najasa, for example, you see you have some najasa on your knee, for example, right? Now, if you do wudu, your wudu is accepted, but then your salah will not be accepted because you have najasa on it. You have to wash that. But in terms of your wudu being accepted, then it is accepted. So likewise here, if dough is there, then it's khlas, your salah is accepted as well because it's not a condition, you know, that is not allowed to be in your body. Nor is it a part that you have to wash, so it's fine. Made ablution whilst eating camel meat. No, salah is not accepted. Made ablution with stolen water. Salah accepted or no? Invalid. Good. Made ablution before cleaning the private parts. No, invalid. Good. Taking new water from the ears, for the ears. Okay. Now we won't say wudu is not accepted. We just they say laysa mashru'. That's not legislated. That's not legislated. As for saying bid'ah, Allah, I want to say bid'ah because there's a bit of khilaf in this issue and there are some weaker hadith and so on. So saying bid'ah is, Allah, whether you call it bid'ah or not. But we would say that it's not what's legislated. Where's the next one? Wiping the head 3 times. Like, we wouldn't say invalid again. Like if somebody does it because he's done the minimum, which is once, but you would say that's not legislated. And here you might say it's bid'ah because khalas, it's clear. Wiping the head once was clearly established. Okay, so you would say either not legislated, but even say bid'ah khalas because there's no proof whatsoever for that. Where are we on? Washing every part once during ablution. So you wash your hands once, wash your face once, wash your arms once. It's accepted as long as the water has reached everywhere. Good. Okay, what about washing the parts 3 times each during wudu? Not only accepted, say the best. That's the best. That's the most complete. Yeah. So not only accepted, but it's the best, the most complete. Washing the hands during ablution. What's the ruling on washing the hands? Accepted but not fard. Obligatory. How is it accepted but not fard? But not obligatory. يعني. Recommended. Sunnah. All of you are wrong. Now we say فيه تفصيل. There's some details that you have to give. We say if you are referring to washing the hands in the beginning of wudu, then that is sunnah. If you're referring to washing the hands after washing the face, i.e. when you're washing the arms, then that is obligatory. That is fard. Yeah. So we say it depends on which washing of the hands you're referring to. If you're referring to the washing of the hands in the beginning, then that is recommended. If you're referring to the washing the hands after washing the face, i.e. with the washing of the arms, then it is obligatory from the fingertip till and including your elbow. Right. Running wet fingers through the beard. Takhleel. Called takhleel. What's the ruling on that? Sunnah. Good. Rubbing the body parts during ablution. This is called dalk. What that basically means is that, let's say I have water, okay, and I've poured water onto my arm. What's the ruling on me doing this? Like making sure the water reaches everywhere? A sunnah. Okay, it is sunnah. Obviously, if the water is not reaching everywhere, except you're doing that, then one could argue that it's obligatory. But if the water reaches everywhere without you doing that, then it's fine. Okay, so that's why it's recommended. That's why we would generally say it's recommended. Or sunnah. That's called dalk. Dalk. Okay. Wiping that which is obligatory to wash. So it's obligatory to wash the arms, but instead we just get water and we just wipe. Like, it's not accepted. Good. It's not accepted. Invalid. You have to wash them. So you can't just get a hand and you just wipe. Like, you have to make sure wash. Wash is where you get water and the water is running through these places. So we can't wipe. Okay. Right. Washing the hair. What's the ruling on that? Not legislated. Good. Only wiping. That's not allowed. Right. Entering the hands into a water container. Right. What about wiping the neck? We talked about wiping the neck. That's bid'ah. That's not from the sunnah. Okay, entering the hands into the water container. Right. This one we've not taken this issue. I don't think the Sheikh mentioned it either. What's the ruling on this? Anyone know? From studying fiqh elsewhere. Good. The answer to this is if you've woken up from the sleep at night. If you've woken up from the sleep at night, then you cannot put your hand into a container of water until you wash your hands 3 times. Until you wash your hands 3 times. And if you do, they say that water becomes najis. Because it comes in the hadith of Prophet ﷺ. Nowadays it's okay because we have a tap. You wash your hands and the water goes into the sink, okay? Into the drain. So it's fine. So what's the ruling? But generally, what is the ruling of putting your hands into the water container? If it's waking from sleep, then you're not allowed to do that until you wash your hands 3 times. Okay? If it's any other time in the day or even a nap during the day, then that's fine. Then it's fine. Because Prophet said, فَلَا يَدْرِي أَيْنَ بَاتَتْ يَدُهُ. That person, because he doesn't know where his hands are spent the night. And it says batat, and he says spent the night. Bata does not happen except during the night. It does not happen except during the night. No. So we're saying, is it makruh or haram? Wallah alam, I can't remember if it's makruh or haram. But it makes the water najis. That's obviously it's not allowed. It makes the water najis. Whether the act itself is makruh or haram, I can't remember right now. I mean, it goes against the command of the Prophet ﷺ, but it's not a clear act of ibadah, so that could be a sarif from tahrim. Wallahu alam, I can't remember right now. But it makes the water najis, that's why you're not allowed to do it. Okay, beginning with the right side during ablution. Sunnah. Washing the ablution parts more than 3 times. Yes, what do yes. Washing the ablution parts, washing the body parts more than 3 times, not accepted. No, not accepted. Um, washing the calf. Like we would say, we won't say not needed. We would say not allowed. Yeah, because you're wasting water now. Washing the calf, it's not part of the body. So remember, uh, Sheikh Haytham, he in his pictures, I think the last picture he mentioned it. Let's have a look. Ruling or washing more than we are ordered. It is not allowed to increase by washing more in ablution, such as one washing or washes some parts more than 3 times, or washes the arm almost until the shoulder and to the feet until the knee, or wipe the neck. Somebody asked me about Abu Hurairah. That's ijtihad from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh. But may Allah reward him. But we don't accept that because that goes against our hadith, and also how all the other Sahaba did it. Praying after swimming without prior ablution. So if you've gone to swim, why is it invalid? It's invalid because you don't have the intention. The water itself, I don't think it would be considered pure water because there's chlorine and other things in it, which changes the smell and also the taste of the water. And if that does take place, then it's not pure. Also, when you're swimming, does the water go inside your mouth and your nose? That's also the issue. Then there's also the issue of, have you washed all the body parts in the right order? So there's a lot of issues. So generally we would say praying after swimming, no, it's not accepted because you don't have wudu. Okay, praying after taking a shower and did not do ablution. Somebody asked me, what about if you're on the beach? So if you go to the beach or the sea, that water is pure. So if you've gone with the intention, like you've gone to the side of the water and you've Thomas we did this when we went Lake District with the du'at and so on, right? A lot of the brothers didn't have wudu, so then it's fine. If we took the water and then we did wudu in the correct order with the intention, then it's fine. Okay. Praying after a shower and you do not do ablution. If you're taking a shower with the intention of removing both رفع الحدث الأكبر and أصغر, like if you have to do a ghusl for major impurity, then you have the intention for both, then it's lifted. It's lifted, okay? Otherwise, it is not unless you do wudu within the shower. I mean, if you do shower in the sunnah way anyway, the wudu will be lifted. But if you just do a normal ghusl without the intention of wudu, then no. But if you have the intention of wudu and you do the wudu within the shower, it's lifted. Or you have the intention of, you have to do obligatory shower, so you have the intention of the obligatory and removing hadith akbar and asghar, then it is lifted. Because they say that because you've removed the major type of impurity, the minor also follows. But like I said, the best is if make both intentions and you follow the sunnah way of doing that ghusl, then wudu is already part of the ghusl, so it is removed. Alhamdulillah. Okay, and with that, alhamdulillah, we finished the section of wudu. From next lesson tomorrow, inshallah, we will start fiqh of zakah. From next lesson, inshallah, tomorrow. When's the lesson? Is it tomorrow? No, it's not tomorrow. It's Thursday. Thursday at 7 p.m. inshallah. We will, bi'idhnillah, start kitab zakah. As for Friday's lesson, I've put 6:30. The class is going to be at 6:30. I will confirm because I think I have a lecture in Preston on Friday, which is at 8 o'clock. That means it takes me an hour to get there. I will have to leave at 7. Friday's lesson I might do at 6 then. I know it's a bit early, but if you can't attend 6, then at 7 or 8, just watch the recording, inshallah. I'd rather do the lesson than cancel the lesson, but I'll try to make it shorter. If I do it at 6, I'll try to make it shorter, inshallah. But don't worry, on the day On the day I'll send a message. Our next lesson is on Thursday. I'll confirm on Thursday, bismillah. I'll confirm on Thursday, bismillah. Any questions before we leave? No? Okay, then inshallah we'll stop here. Dalk. Robbing was dalk. I'll write it in Arabic for you. طيب let's stop here then. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. آمين وإياك.